It has to be in association, in relation to another number. Resources available. Resources available and the utilization of resources. Right? So if you've been told that population is, that's because some people came and they told us this. Our problem is that we don't think we've internalized. We are one of the wealthiest places on the planet. But we have internalized this sense of poverty. We're a poor country. All the time we have our guys going, Abhi, Mr. Modi is making a fool of us. No. What is FDI? Is FDI a good thing? What is FDI? How does FDI work? Somebody comes in with $1 million and they take out how much? Minimum 10 million, 100 million, that's the game. What do we gain out of that? Why do we think it's such a good thing? The game of FDI, they're not giving us a grant, they're giving an investment. Their investment, they want to take out maybe 10 times or 100 times more or 1,000 times more. That's the rate of profit they're taking out. So first they tell us you're a poor country, you need to borrow money, you have to have FDI, all of those things, because we have not even had sense of what our resource base is on this country. How could we? We've been sitting in classrooms all our lives. In the bubble, in the cage. The third thing we need to learn, so we think that we don't have enough, we're poor. So that's why we think we have to stay in the cage. The third thing we have to stay in the cage is because we think we are alone. Our entire schooling system has fed us a lie that you have to compete against everybody. That the natural way is competition. That human beings are better off if they compete. And what happens in that competition is you start feeling very, very small and very, very alone. Because you can't trust anyone anymore. Everyone is a competitor. Right? And this is a strange thing because everyone in the real world knows that the key to the solutions in the real world are only going to happen in collaboration. Isn't it? All of the complex social, ecological problems that we are facing on the planet can only be solved through a massive kind of collaboration across countries, races, classes, sectors, disciplines. Only way to do that. And yet our entire education model still creates the stupidity that competition is the way to learn. It isn't. Competition makes us feel alone, disconnected, separated from each other. And when we feel alone, we don't understand again our power. When we start connecting in a different way, when we can start trusting. We've been grown up as a generation which has told you can't trust anybody. Maybe if you were lucky in your childhood, all of you got to eat from strangers in the train compartment. Did all of you get to eat from strangers then? Or were you too late? You remember that? Now you go on the bus or train, think of how many people are afraid to even offer food or to take food. This has happened in front of you. Otherwise, we trusted each other. We created a bond, a social network of trust. This was pre-Facebook social network. That you could actually trust people, trust strangers. And the world we're creating, this Facebook world, is you can't even trust who is next to you. You don't know it. So how do we create a system? Only by collaborating, by sharing. Sharing knowledge. You know, this whole idea of copyright. How many of you heard of that? Patent, copyright. It's criminal. हमारे देश में the whole idea, अगर आपने सब सुना, ज्ञान बांटने से ज्ञान बढ़ता है. कितने लोगों ने कहावत सुना? Copyright kills that. So we are talking about in our movement, we're talking about copy left. Sharing knowledge, collaborating, doing things together, that is the only way forward. So this whole culture of competition and comparison that we're being fed, traumatized since childhood with, is something that we need to really look at. Why are we doing this to innocent children? The other sense of alone is we think that we are the only species on this planet who has intelligence and consciousness. So, when we find out, when we eventually wake up to what the tribal people have already been trying to tell us, that there is many, many, many forms of consciousness and awareness, then maybe the human beings will be able to enter into a next level of cooperation with life on the planet. There's a beautiful quote I'll just share with you called from the Native Americans? Okay. Saying that what you people call your natural resources, we call our relatives. So they've already known that we are not alone. We have relatives everywhere who are all willing. I'm telling you, the natural world is intelligent, alive, and wanting to communicate with us. If we are willing to get out of this cage of the classroom, there's so much out there that it wants to communicate with us and wake us up to what life is really about. So hopefully I've been able to stir something with you, disturb you, piss you off, inspire you, something or other, but wake you out of the slumber that the cage puts us into. So thank you for your time. I'll put my contact here, our website, everything, and feel free to come and visit us in Udaipur. Feel free. Can I share one little last thing?
Yeah.
So one thing I'll just leave you with was an invitation, the Cycle Yatra. So in Swaraj University, those three things I mentioned, we're trying to really actively, there's no syllabus. The whole thing is how do we find our unique selves and connections. What Swaraj, the word real Swaraj means. We do something called the Cycle Yatra. So I'll invite you all for that. We can come and do it here also. You can do a cycle yatra or pedal yatra. 1 week we will take you without any money in your pocket. No money. No food with you. No technology. No iPad, no phone, nothing. No medicine. And no plan. Who we're going to go with, who we're going to stay with, what's going to happen. Nothing. Everything we're surrendering to the magical power of the universe. We're going to connect to people and to nature in a very different kind of way. So we've been doing this for the last 8-9 years. It's an amazing, mind-blowing, heart-opening experience. I would invite you to do that. It's one of the ways that we can start finding the courage. There are hundreds of ways that we're experimenting with. This is one of the very powerful technologies that we can start seeing very different. The possibility. There's so much in front of us. The problem is when we can't see it, then we feel afraid. So that's the idea of it, and hopefully I invite you to come and talk to me. I'll be around for a little while. If you want to argue, come and argue. If you want to give me a hug, you're most welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manish. And yes, I can see there's a whole range of reactions. I'm a teacher also, and when I teach those who have attended my class, no, none of you have attended it. So I keep on watching what's the reaction. So there have been reactions like this, there are reactions like, and there is a reaction. So there are so many types, but basically, when we were discussing what does Manish do? Because I have looked into the work that he has done. I have tried to follow his journey. I have known about him, well, not very early, but recently, but I have followed. And I thought that he is the kind of person who can provoke you. And provoke you from a sense, all is well. Because that is what is the thing. And mind you, the compulsion that he has been talking about, it is not just from parents. The compulsion that we are saying that no, you have to do attendance, it is not just the teachers. There is another thing which is the media, all pervasive media. And if the parents don't do, sometimes it is not your inside self that is going to come out. It's the self which is colored by the media. That is the problem. That free will that is there. So it is a composite. And so you are going. So it is a and so there is a chance that you will go straight. So you are having that sort of thing. But the other disconnect that maybe while talking about, when you said run away, inside the cage is 2%. 2% of the parrots are inside. Another large number of parrots are wanting to go inside because of a dream. And the dream, I mean, you may not believe in magic, but the dream talks also about magic. Magic of a different type, and that magic has been sold to you. So the point is that there are those here, if the cage is opened, how many of them would walk out? It is not running away, because the 98%, the life of the 98% is there. When you are saying that India is freedom is 69 years, and when we say 10,000 years, it's 69 years for 2%. For the 98% is 10,000 years. That is there, life is there. There are questions, there are ways to think. Now whether you walk out the way he has done, or the friends that he have done, is a secondary thing. First thing is being inside, or trying to be inside. Do we know about the life outside? Do we know that there are better people, there are more intelligent people, there is more wisdom, there is more knowledge than what we have been told? I think that is the basic message that has come through. We still have some 4 or 5 discussions, and you are all free to bombard your mentors and bombard yourselves. I would like to see blog posts. I want to be bombarded. We should think about it. End of the day, I am not telling you that run away. I am just wanting you to understand reality, and this we have always been telling you, that you have to do what is your passion. Is it true or not? At least let him hear, because he has been pointing, hey, kya kar rahe ho in logon ke saath? So is it not the fact that constantly all of us have been saying that at the end of the day must follow what is your passion? And with that note, let us give a big hand to Manish